Hi, hello and welcome everyone. Thanks for coming. My name is Andelko and I've worked at Crossmasters as a marketing and web developer. And what are we going to talk about today is how to level up your e-commerce measurement. We are going to talk about how to use measurement layer and what is it and why is it useful. And also we are going to talk about data quality and why is it important. What are the flows of having the good quality data or low quality data and how can it impact your measurement on the website. So let's start with the presentation. I'm sharing my screen so we can start. So regarding the data quality, this is the first topic we're going to start with. And regarding the data in the marketing, uh, it's something that can affect the user's ability to make precise decisions regarding the subject of their study. So the user on your website can study any subject. It could be a product, it could be a service, or anything else that you have on your website. It might be changed by having a good or bad quality data. And high quality data, uh, it's collected and analyzed using a strict set of guidelines that will ensure consistency and accuracy in your platforms. Meanwhile, the low quality data will often won't track all the affecting values, or it will have a high degree error. There are some benefits, actually there are a lot of benefits of high quality data, but the most important ones are that high quality data helps you in a strong decision making. Like you can make a good business decisions fast. You can easily work across the teams because you will have consistent data in all of your platforms, and you will get entire view of the customer. But also you need to consider the following impacts of the low quality data. First of all, you will make wrong decisions. It will cost you a lot more because of the mistakes you're doing while you're analyzing data. And also, you will have quite tight customer relationships. And by these customer relationships, I mean that the data doesn't just impact your advertising budgets, the cost of implementation. It can impact your customer relationships as well, which is a crucial for a good business to have a good customer relationship. And if this bad data leads to target the customer with some product, let's say, that that messaging doesn't align with their interests, it will refuse them from your brand. It will cause them to unsubscribe or disregard the future messaging, and therefore you are losing the customers on your website. In in average companies, 5% of the data is used to make decisions is incorrect. 8 to 12% of data and of the company money is lost because of the lower quality data. And 4 to 14% of company money is lost because of the lower quality data in e-commerce divisions. And e-commerce are the most impacted ones. So I'm just gonna quickly, we will do a short poll where we just gonna ask you a question about if you had any problems with data collection so we could get some overview of the audience. It could be any problem like with any platform, for example, Facebook measurement, Google Analytics, Google Ads, anything that you or your company is using. My colleague is going to share the form with you in the chat, so please, if you could just give us a brief answer. And if you could please share the, great. Let's give it some more time. Okay, so I see that most of you had problems during the development. Some of you had no problems in the last 6 months, which is great, and some of you had the problems after the release to production. So these are the results from the same question that we had with different clients before and after implementing the measurement layer. Before implementing the measurement layer, 53% of our customers had data collection issues after releasing a measurement to production. Those issues were like that something was missing or some data was collected wrong or it didn't work at all. 38% of them had issues during the development and implementation of measurement. And only small percent of them had no issues in 6 months, just like we have it now. In the last 6 months, we also experienced one great issue, and problem was that measurement didn't work on the website after we did a release to production. During this process, we did a small syntax mistake that led us to broken measurement. This website didn't have any measurement layer, and we realized that a bit late. We realized after 2 days that data was missing. Later on, I'm going to dive in how to prevent these issues, but now let me show you a 1-year difference with the same clients after implementing the measurement layer. After 1 year of having a measurement layer on their website, 11% of our clients had data collection issues after releasing a measurement to production. These are usually the mistakes when person is like misses something or something was incomplete, and this is what happens. 18% of them had issues during the development and implementation of measurement, which is half of what they had before, because measurement layer is still a complex structure that needs to be adopted by the company and understood by the developers. But majority of them had no issues in the last 6 months. Our company is the expert on these marketing technology and techniques that are used within the upper level of marketing maturity model. Actually, what we do is we are here to help companies to develop and use well-balanced range of technologies that will smartly treat your customers and manage their experience. Some of the solutions we assist to build are close to this meta model of marketing architecture. Here we see an example of marketing architecture, and our main focus will be in measurement layer. So I will make you an example of how it works. So for example, let's say we have a customer, he comes to our website using a browser or a mobile app, and he's male, his name is Peppa, and he's 30 years old. This is his first visit on the web, so we don't know much about him yet. Actually, we know almost nothing about it. But we want to collect as much information about it. So let's say this visitor that we know as Peppa has just decided to start eating healthy, and he's looking for a website to start buying organic food. On our website, he fills the cart with the products that he needs, and he completes a transaction. Those information gets captured in a measurement layer, and this measurement layer gets enriched by a CDP and a data warehouse. A CDP stands for a customer data platform, and it's a sort of a software that combines data from multiple platforms and tools. and in order to create a database for your customer. And that database can be segmented to create more personalized marketing campaigns for each customer. And of course, we have a data warehouse, which is storing current and historical data in one single place. And it's used for creating analytical reports. We need this process because knowing a bit more about the customer, we can treat our customer better. If we understand their needs, if we understand what products are they looking for, what services are they Googling, and so on. This is crucial for building a good relationship with your customer. So back to this measurement layer, under this, I would call it complex structure, there is a data structure that holds these information we want to process. The information about the country, about is he a new customer or not, about the device, and so on, about the products that he bought. So this measurement layer sends the data from your website to other applications, like a tag management system. Tag management system is something that's used to manage marketing digital tags. Some of you may have heard of Google Tag Manager, and there is also Telium, and so on. From this tag management system, we map and send the data that goes all the way through the online campaign orchestration process, which is basically a marketing process of creating, deploying, and analyzing campaigns across multiple channels in order to build a customer experience. And from there to marketing and advertising technologies that later on through the internet retargets our customer and shows him a subject that's related to the products that he just bought or visited. So in this example, what we just saw here is a market leader ecosystem. And if this market leader ecosystem runs well, you have a market system that generates the money. And now you see the role of a measurement layer. So basically it influences the whole system and therefore it has an extremely important role. And as I mentioned earlier, how important is it to have a high quality data? Because you can achieve this whole process only if your measurement layer contains high quality data. Otherwise, your campaigns would be a waste of resources. So if you want to enrich your web tracking, but at the same time you need reliable ways of gathering information, there is a great solution for you. It's called measurement layer. But what is measurement layer? People are sometimes having a hard time understanding what the measurement layer is and how it works. So I'm going to try to explain you. So simply, a measurement layer is a method of collecting and distributing data from your website. The data from the website and customer data platform are populating the measurement layer. That data could be related to a product, for example, product price, product name, product band. And if the user does a login, we can have a user, like some information about him, and so on. But on a deeper and more technical level, it's a complex structure that lays behind the website and the mobile apps to collect visitor or user information. The type of data that's contained in the measurement layer always depends on your business requirements. It could be transaction, behavioral, demographic, device, and so on. The more varieties you need, the more complex measurement layer gets. In the following slides, I'm going to show you an example of how a measurement layer looks like. So as we mentioned, measurement layer lays behind the website to collect some information. We have there a testing website where we're going to show you how that measurement layer looks like. So in this code, on the right side, we see the information that lays behind the website. It's in the form of a programmatical code, and it holds the information from this page that we see on the left side. It's hard to see anything, and each time you refresh or reload the page, you would open this measurement layer all over again. there are some tools you could use to read this data layer easier. And this concept that we see, that this complex structure behind your website, is very old actually. Every tagging solution is using it. For example, Google Analytics has data layer, Adobe has digital data, Telium has UTag data, and so on. But the measurement layer should be independent from tagging solutions. Already now there are new platforms coming out, and they are event-based, and they can be totally customized by everyone's needs. So every website might be using a different structure of measurement layer. There is no more pattern of how measurement layer should look like. So why would you use a measurement layer? Why is a measurement layer a must? Well, first of all, as we already said, you need consistency of your data in all platforms. Measurement layer makes this data collection process easy by gathering it all into one central location and then redistributing it to your marketing technologies. And by using measurement layer to centralize data before it's distributed, you will standardize data across all your channels, you will have a greater control over your data collection, and you will increase extensibility of your technologies, which means that you will easily switch from one platform to another. It offers a great method for structuring data and can provide a clean perspective on data that you use for a range of purposes. But let's take a look from the other side. What if you don't use a measurement layer? We analyzed over 100 of websites, and almost every website has a technology available for using the measurement layer, but not everyone is using that. Instead, only small amounts of sites are actually working with measurement layer. If you're not using measurement layer, you won't have consistency, and you won't have centralized source of data, and therefore each marketing vendor is responsible for capturing its own data. For example, let's say there is some new marketing platform that you want to try or just to test something. For example, you're already using Google Analytics, you want to try the Facebook. It would be hard to implement it, as you would need to gather whole data specifically for that marketing platform all over again. But with measurement layer, there should be almost no cost from changing from one platform to another. You would use data that you already have in your centralized data source, and it would just make the process much easier and much faster. Also worth to mention, it's very confusing to measure. It takes long manual data scraping, which if the website changed, you would need to update almost every time. So we have another 2 questions prepared for you, which my colleague is gonna send you into the chat. So just to get insight of how many marketing technologies are you or your company using? So if you could give us an answer on that. So, okay, I'm going to give you like some time. Wait. Okay, so I see that some of you are using quite a lot of marketing platforms. Actually, there is more than 20, and a lot of people are using more than 20 marketing platforms, which is great. Some of you are using less than 20, and some of you are not sure, so it's probably not in your scope of work and you're not sure how many are you using. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. How many marketing technologies have you added or changed in the last year? So there is a new poll in the chat, so if you could quickly give us an answer. Okay, so the majority of the answer is more than 4, which is quite a lot for a year. So we also have less than 4. Okay, so let's move on. Have you ever seen this before? There are more than 8,000 marketing technologies out there, and the number is constantly growing. Of course, none of the company, none of the business enterprise will ever use all of them. The average enterprise is using more than 100 of marketing cloud services. These technologies, they all need data, and that data is common across technologies such as page information, visitor information, traffic source, and more. And unfortunately, without the measurement layer, each marketing vendor is responsible for capturing their own data. With 1 or 2 marketing technologies, this may not be too hard to manage, but what about 10 or 20 or even 100? Average e-commerce companies using more than 20 marketing platforms, and every year they're changing 2 to 4 of them. So they're either implementing new ones or changing the existing ones depending on their company requirements. And a measurement layer helps to manage all this data across technologies. It makes these transitions easy and fast. So let's take a look at some of the benefits that we have from using a well-constructed measurement layer. So as we already said, if you want to maximize the potential of your website, get to know your audience, and provide more personalized content, you need consistency in all of your platforms. On this image here, you can see the technical visualization of the things I was talking before. So user experience layer, which is built from processing layer that's using a measurement layer in your web application. And I guess that you may know that any change you do on the website could drastically throw off your tracking. And if you ever experienced such a measurement problem, you know that impact is even more terrible. But a measurement layer standardizes the data, and collection keeps consistency no matter if you did some changes on the web. It also reduces development time and the number of iterations between the development and the marketers. And by all this being said, it can greatly lower your cost. So I'm going to walk you through one of the real cases that we had with one of our clients. One of our clients had all the marketing platforms implemented straight on the web. Something didn't work and they were facing a lot of issues. Amongst those issues, the main issue was data inconsistency. They had different results in different platforms. One example of such a problem is that they had transaction measurement in local currency and in one analytical platform, and other analytical platform was measuring transactions in euros. So those are 2 different currencies that are measured on the same website. Also, they had a problem that one of these platforms was measuring a value-added tax, and other platform didn't. So there was also inconsistency in the full price measurement. And what was the cause? They didn't have central and consistent source of data, but instead each marketing vendor was responsible for capturing its own data, and it was a mess. To discover those issues for them, it was really complicated and time consuming, which was also costly. And whenever they wanted to do a small change, they had to go to their developer or to the external agency, and they needed to implement it for every single platform separately, which is at the end so expensive. But they were also unaware how many problems they have with their measurement. Was it like 3 or 4, or was there 100 problems? They were despite and they didn't know what to do. And then one day, one smart engineer did a research and said, hey, I think we should use the concept of measurement layer. And they took her advice and they implemented a measurement layer. Their issues were solved by having a single source of data. Not just one problem, but all the measurement inconsistencies. But how did it help them? The consequences they had after implementing the measurement layer was that it wasn't so time consuming to change something. It costed them less, and also it was easier to detect mistakes or something that was missing, because if something is wrong in one platform, it will be wrong in all of them, which means that it will be consistent. They also got the opportunity to leverage measurement layers so they can easily add new platforms because they are not vendor locked anymore. And they increased number of these platforms easily and quickly. And now they have over 20 marketing platforms implemented really cheap. And they are still benefiting from it now. Recently, they had a requirement to replace one platform. They used Google Analytics, and they grew so much they wanted to replace it with more advanced analytics solution. And of course, they didn't have to implement the whole new system. They just had to change the mapping to map it into the new platform. And by implementing the measurement layer on their website, they fixed architecture model and they did grow in marketing maturity model. Marketing maturity model is something that contains the essential elements of effective tools and processes of data-driven marketing. It's basically a roadmap to marketing growth, and it helps companies to identify their current maturity level, and they can visualize required steps to manage their transformation towards the higher levels. So if you're a beginner, you clearly see what needs to be done to get to the intermediate level and to the advanced and so on. Companies that don't effectively use the measurement layer are at the beginner stage and they cannot go beyond. They have very few systems and tools implemented and they need more standardized process. Companies who use measurement layer are at this intermediate stage, but that's not enough. Our clients that implemented measurement layer is on this stage. And if he would like to keep growing in marketing maturity model, but on a path to a market leader, there is a lot more to achieve. Having a measurement layer solved many problems, but it doesn't guarantee you to move. If you want to move to advanced stage, you need to do a better quality assurance. As previously said, measurement layer reduces time. However, the website is not static but very dynamic environment. And to prevent mistakes, you need to check for mistakes, which can sometimes seem too complicated and time consuming. There is a manual control, which is not very effective. We implemented dozens of measurement layers, and for us, this manual checking used to be a nightmare. So let's do a manual check. In this demonstration, I will show you how measurement layer looks like on one of the Google's testing eShop website. So we're going to head over to Enhanced e-commerce, which is this small website that Google created for testing the measurement layer implementation. I will actually send you a link so you can access it yourself. Okay, so this Google website is built uh, just for purposes of testing a data layer implementation, which is their term for a measurement layer. And as we know, Google is having everything perfectly done. So as I showed you before, measurement layer can be found behind the website. And in order to see it, you would have to open the console and type in the name of the measurement layer. So it would basically be like data layer. And this is the information we have about this website. In this particular example, you can see what data will be sent to measurement layer with every action that happened on the page. It can be done by clicking on one of these buttons. So for example, product, you click on this button here. And here we see different options how Google is sending data to measurement layer. There is a jtag.js code, Google Tag Manager code, and ec.js code. We're going to focus on Google Tag Manager code, which is using measurement layer implementation. On this page, on this home page of the website, the only possible action you can do with a product is to click on it. And we see the code that will be sent to a measurement layer in a moment of clicking this product. There are some actions you can do. So after we go to Google Tag Manager code, you see there information about the event, which is called product click, and some e-commerce information about where the click happened on the home page, and information about the clicked product. So ID of the product, name, price, and so on. So every website could have totally different points to measure. So every page as well. So on this page, we can do some more actions with the product. For example, we can add the product to the cart by clicking on this button. So let's check this code out. In a moment of clicking add to cart, this code will be pushed to a measurement layer. This code contains the event, which is called add to cart, and some information about the currency code and about the product that was added to the cart. Also, there are other type of actions, not just the like user action that I will add or remove or click on something, but there are actions called page views. And when a user visits the product page, actually, if I reload the page, something is already sent to a measurement layer, and it is this code here. So this code here is sent in the moment when user comes to a page, and this code contains some information about the page. As this page is a detail of the product, we see here a detail, and it contains a product that we are inspecting. So by collecting these information about visited product, you can retarget your customers by newsletter or personalized ads that will offer him the products that he's actually interested in. But the question is, what if your measurement layer is wrong, or it contains some invalid type of data? Then you have the problem, because your messaging to a customer won't align with their interest, and it will refuse them from your brand. So I will give you like 2 minutes to go through some of these measurement layer implementation points and possibly try to find an error. And just remember that we only focus on Google Tag Manager code. So if you could like have a look and see, you know, that Google is doing everything perfectly, so you can check if some of these information are right or wrong. So I will give you 2 minutes. You have the link inside of the chat, so you can check it just by clicking here. Okay, looks like we have a question. Is there the Google specification somewhere? Right. So, of course, uh, you cannot know if something is valid or invalid if you didn't read the documentation, right? And reading documentation takes a couple of hours. So you probably didn't find any errors for now. So let's have another poll where you will vote on how many errors do you think can be found on this Google's testing eShop. So my colleague is going to send you the poll. So please, if you give us an answer of what you think. Okay, so I see that some of you answered that there are no errors, that Google is errorless. Some of you are saying that there are more than 10 errors, which would be weird, especially for the Google. And some of you are saying less than 10 errors. So surprisingly, there are more than 10 errors in this measurement layer implementation. And if you go through their detailed specification, which would take you some time, you would see that some of the parameters in the measurement layer are actually wrong. They have the wrong type. So now, what it would be possible for anyone to validate this measurement layer, but without knowing a specification or having a measurement layer implementation skills, but simply using a tool that can do that for you. So you don't need to read a 3-4 hour long documentation. It can just be tested in a matter of seconds. So after implementing dozens of measurement layers, we decided to develop our own tool for measurement layer validation. Why did we did that? Because you need to make sure that your data is valid before it's being distributed at the marketing platforms, because that's already too late. And because there is no longer a standard way of how measurement layer should look like, so it can contain anything and be totally customized by your needs. And there is always some recommended structure, but to these new technologies, you can send anything. And that's why you need to validate your data and clean it up from the errors. We did put our experience with writing measurement layer specifications, the user experience, our client needs, and we released a Chrome extension that can inspect and validate your measurement layer throughout particular events on your website. And of course, it makes it easier for developers to understand the measurement layer as well. So now I will demonstrate you an effective way on how to do a measurement layer quality assurance using this tool. I'm going to head back to the testing website where we will check the measurement layer and make sure everything is valid. Before measurement layer is implemented, a detailed documentation needs to be created. And this documentation, just like any other, contains detailed information about every single parameter that's contained inside of the measurement layer. Of course, Google has their own documentation for the measurement layer they are using. And we're going to use this tool that will work with this documentations that actually takes the parameter from documentations and it creates you a validation tool. So there is a extension called Waaila Tracking Validator, and we're going to use it to test if the measurement layer on the Google website is implemented correctly, according to Google's official documentation. I already added it to browser, but we're going to share you the links later so you can add it too, and you can see it for yourself to test it, how it works, and play with it. So back to this testing website. So this extension is located inside of your inspector tools. So if you go to the inspector tools, once you add it, there is Waaila. So this is our extension that we are going to use. This tool checks whether your measurement layer is populated correctly and if it contains all the data required. You will see it's a very easy to use, and the validation takes only few seconds compared to a long manual crawling that would be by going here, typing the name of the data layer, opening every single one of these points, and checking the parameters inside, which we don't want. It's time consuming and it's just easy to miss something. So first of all, about the tool, there are two interfaces of this tool. One of them is Inspector, which we are currently at. It shows the overview of what data from the website is being stored to a measurement layer. Now they are, as this is a testing website, they are not pushing this code yet. So basically we need to push it ourselves to the console because this is only for the testing purposes. So in here, we already see the new code, which is event remove from cart. And that's basically the bit nicer way of displaying your measurement layer. But the second one and more important one is a validator. A validator unlocks the possibility of validating measurement layer against custom JSON schema. What it means is that you need to manually choose the context of the web page. So it could be, for example, add to cart, remove from cart, detail, product click, and so on. However, the validator automatically checks whether the measurement layer is populated correctly against the schema. In order to make this validator part work, you need schema. And schema is basically how you define your data structure should look like. So it's a place where you define the rules for a specific page or action. For example, if you have eShop website and every page should collect certain data, so we define rules for those pages in our schema. We call them somehow descriptive, for example, list or detail, so we know what page is it about. Then in this setting tab, we input the schema here. There is, of course, a full documentation on how to build the schema to work with this tool. And after I already added the schema, but we're going to provide you with some testing schemas so you can test it yourself. It will be on our GitHub. I'll share the link later. So back to the validator. We have 4 columns there. The first column displays a list of all events in measurement layer. So there's a Google Tag Manager was loaded. Google Tag Manager loaded the document object model. That's a default Google Tag Manager event name, which is implemented on this website. And the event we just did by simulating this code into the console called remove from cart. Second column shows the list of our validation schemas. They were added in the settings tab earlier. So everything what you have here in the for example, product page with impressions, product click, and so on, will be displayed here under the product page, impressions, product click, and so on. Third column is empty for now, but it shows detected errors after running a validation. And the fourth column is showing a measurement layer in the merged state. So for easier readability of data. For example, if you have a single page applications, website doesn't reload, but you can have something like a virtual page view. For example, you are on the page and then you proceed to the next step, for example, to login, which gives you some pop-up. The page didn't reload, but you can send a new page to the measurement layer and it will basically, this fourth column will read it as a merged data. So you won't have like two pages there, but the latest data in here, merged with everything you had before. So now I'm going to show you how validation actually works. So I'm going to open this validator on the home page of the Google's testing eShop. And this page shows the list of the products we need to select in order to get to the product detail. So if we want to validate this home page, we would be selecting these schemas from the home page section here. So it contains impressions, product click, promo view, and promo click. So all these four are the events actually and interactions that can happen on this page. For some of you who don't know, impressions, it's defined as viewing one or usually multiple products offers on a given page. So for example, we have there 12 t-shirts or even more, 18, no, 16. This is a promotion. So this is basically an impression. So we have 16 impressions of products. Usually I would just be able to test this right away, but as this website is for testing purposes, it doesn't contain this data already in measurement layer. Instead, it provides you data in the form of a JavaScript code here. So I will just take this specific part, I will copy it, and I will paste it to the console. So I'm just going to run the execute code here, and back in Waaila, we see their new event called product click. So in order to validate this product click, I'm going to click on product click schema. So if I click on here, this product click schema will validate this merged measurement layer that we see on the right side, and it will check whether it's populated correctly according to the rules that we specified here for the product schema. So if I click on a product click, we see there are two errors. So we see there are two errors that we couldn't spot earlier because we had no documentation. We had no way to know if there is some error or not. So let's read these errors. So first, there is a data path which shows that error happened in e-commerce click products price. So basically, there's a problem with this e-commerce click product price. So the first error is this one here, and the message says should be number. What does it mean is that this validation schema was built from the Google's official documentation in where they are writing that the product price needs to be a number, and there's some example value or a decimal, and in here the product price is actually a string. So in order for you to manually discover this error without using this tool, you would again head over to the console, you would type in the data layer, you would need to find this product click push, and in there you would need to find the product and you would need to find the price, and then you would need to go back to the documentation and check whether it should be integer or text or other value type. So same case we have with the promo click, and let's test it. So this promo click is actually not a product, but it's a promotion. And this is like some campaign that they are running, for example, back to school discount. So let's try to run this code and check for validity of this code. So we are having there a new promotion click event, which is merged inside of this measurement layer on the left side, on the right side. And here we see the information about the promotion that was clicked, or actually we simulated this click. So if I head over and I click on the promo click, I see their new error. So the promo click should match it has a different event name, because in the documentation, it says that name of the event should be promo click, but they are actually sending promotion click. So this way you can test the data layer, measurement layer implementation without having to go through the hours of long of documentations. And this tool can help you make your testing faster, make your data errorless, and using the validator, errors in measurement layer are so easy to catch, and it will save you a time and the money, and your data will be exquisite. So if you're interested, try this tool. It's free. It's available on Chrome Web Store. And as a summary, we will send you a link where you can download this tool. Also, we will send you a link to JSON schema on GitHub, so you can play with the tool on this Google testing website, and link on how to build your own measurement layer schema for this tool. So if you have a measurement layer on the web, or if you're planning to implement it, you can use this tool. It's free. And if you have any further questions, you can send us an email to info@waaila.com or info@crossmasters.com. We will be happy to help. So thank you all for attending this presentation. And now we're gonna leave some time for the questions. If anyone has some questions, would be the right time to ask.
Thank you, Andelko. Let me just share a few links for when you can get some schema and when you can download the extension, or how you can build your schema. So on our documentation in the chat in a second. So you can have a look by yourself. And in the meantime, you can just tell us what you think. If there's anything else you would like to continue some discussion, maybe you have some troubles that you would like to discuss in your work or in your workshop.
You can either ask the question or write it into the. Would the same approach work with the Google Analytics 4? Yes. Google Analytics 4 can be implemented using jtag.js, or can be implemented like from the data layer from the Google Tag Manager code. And for that, you would need to build a schema that will correspond your data layer specification for your Google Analytics 4 measurement. And you would just have to input it into the tool, and you would have all the options that you listed there. Actually, we have the testing schema for Google Analytics 4, but for JTAG measurement. So it will be also shared between you, so you can actually take it and use it to test it. Yes, this extension only works for Google Chrome.
On Edge, right?
And recently we added it to Microsoft Edge as well. Okay, so we have a question where can I show you how the Google Analytics 4 schema can be used? Of course. So we're gonna head back to the testing website, and in our schema, I'm gonna take a schema that we built for Google Analytics 4 JTAG. Just give me a couple of seconds. Yeah, perfect. So we're going to share with you this link where you will find all these schemas that you can use. So we have there Google Analytics 4 JTAG schema, and I'm just going to take the schema and I will paste it on my settings. So
yes, the repository on the GitHub link is already in your chat if you would like to access it.
Perfect. So you can test it already. So once you add a schema there, we are having some different information here. So still, this schema is built for this Google's testing eShop, but the concept is the same. They are the same track points that can be found in a standard Google Analytics 4 tracking, like view item list, view promotion, remove from cart, set checkout option, checkout process, and so on. For this particular schema, we don't need to push anything to the data layer manually, as I showed you by clicking on this info icon, because this code is already pushed to the data layer by the Google itself. So let's reload this page, and then we can just validate these points that we have on the product page. So first thing that we have on the product page is the event called view item. We are seeing this item. It's a Google Analytics 4 default event, and it contains some information about the items, The second event is view item list, which is equivalent to impressions that we saw in Google Universal Analytics. So view item list and view promotion. And this information is already pushed to the data layer as I arrive on this page. So we can test it straight away. So if I click on view item list, there, view promotion, there are some errors. So price should be number, price should be number. We already saw that error before because they had the same problem with the Google Analytics 4 data layer as Universal Analytics on this page. But for example, if I click on view promotion, there are no errors because view promotion is this part over here that says that when we arrive to this website, we saw this promotion. So we know that customers saw this promotion and we are sending this information about the promotion there. So that might give us an insight of if this promotion was useful or not. So basically, this is how Google Analytics 4 schema works. You can, let's add the item to the cart, and then let's go with add to cart. Okay. So again, there are some information about the wrong implementation of measurement layer, and this item can be this event can be listed here, add to cart. So, any further questions? Do you see some implementation for such approach on non-e-commerce websites like B2B and lead generation? Yes, we do a lot. Actually, we built a lot of measurement layer documentations for the clients which are not e-commerce. So we build it for the banks, we build it for the insurance companies, we build it for the just informational website that have a form in there. And that form can also contain some measurement layer information. For example, You can measure the clicking on the form as a transaction or as a purchase, or you can set up your goals in the marketing platforms, and you can measure submitting the form as your goal. So you can basically, on the submit form, you can send some information to the data layer, and then you can process it in your marketing platform. So it doesn't matter the website. It can be completely customized for any website. It doesn't need to be e-commerce. Thank you. Are there notifications when error occurs? When error occurs, this validation on this page is doing it instantly. So if I do some action, for example, I remove the product from the cart, this validation is instant. So the notification shows you in the moment of clicking on this validation button. So it won't show you anything unless you need to click on remove from cart, or you need to validate the context that you would like to check if it's error or errorless, and then it will show you the problem here. For example, if I click here, there are some problems. So it shows you the notification of error, actually not the notification, but error message inside of this tool in the moment of clicking the validation. Is there a backend server? So as we see here, measurement layer is on the front end of the website. But it doesn't mean that measurement layer cannot be populated from the backend. We can take some information from the databases that we have. We can create some customer, for example, customer analytical analysis, and we can populate it. If we have a customer that comes to our website once a week, and if he comes again and if he logs in, we already know plenty of information about him. So we will populate the measurement layer from the backend, and we won't be needing to collect the data on the front end for this particular user. Okay, so if no one has any questions at the moment, if you need anything.
I see one more question, Andelko.
Yeah, looks great. Do you plan to do it, make it available on Safari? Well, we didn't have any plans so far, so it won't be coming soon, but definitely as this tool keeps growing, we will definitely try to in future distribute it to all the browsers that are most used ones. But so far it's just the Google Chrome and Microsoft Edge. So if you might find it helpful, then the Chrome would be the best start.
Okay, so I see that we had a lot of great questions coming in, so thank you for that. If you have any questions, just shoot. Also, you can raise your hands. You don't have to write it in your chat, so it's up to you. And we would also like to ask you that if you can go and download it from the Google Store to add it to your browser anytime. It's for free. And if you find it there will be something interesting you would like to share with us, we would like your feedback or something additional that you would like to share that. So don't be afraid to contact us via email or any other way of communication with us. So we would be happy to hear from you. Also, keep in touch with us or the meetup. We have a LinkedIn page and the Facebook page, so we are also planning similar events that can show you what to do with Waaila or other products that we do as well. So you can check this out, and we will keep you posted on other events that are coming. All right. So I don't see any new questions so far. So if you have something else you would like to ask after, as I said, send us email or whatever. We will share the recording from this session on our YouTube channel, Waaila, and also the meetup.
Yeah, correct. Thank you, guys.